What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Well, I'll call a spade where I have to. And honestly, at this point in time, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the solution is. I'm more looking to the viewer. I'm going to stop with my opinions in this video as much as I can because we're in a real pickle right now when it comes to what's happening with tariffs, when it happens to be multiple provinces that are trying to find a way to get back to normal while achieving diplomacy with the United States over this conflict. We're also scrambling with a federal government who isn't working right now, that doesn't seem to be omnipresent, that doesn't want to do their jobs. We have a so-called leader who says that they're going to resign, then they're not going to resign, then they might resign, then they're going to transition. It's all over the place. It's a mess. So the latest news coming out of the camp of Danielle Smith is something I want to touch on, because yesterday Danielle sat during a live stream to talk about what Alberta is going to do moving through. And I've always said that when I agree with politicians, I'm going to prop them up. When I disagree with politicians, I'm going to call it out. I don't know how I really feel about what Danielle is saying. So that's where, again, I'm saying I'm leaving it to the viewers. Now, I'm still going to point it out because that's my job. I have to say I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, I don't understand everything that's happening in the back room, and I really don't know what Canada's supposed to do otherwise at this point. I want to show what Danielle had to say, and we're going to talk about it bit by bit here and go over it, but also some other breaking news that has been surfacing around on social media over the last little bit in terms of what is still in the talks of happening. I don't think it will, but we'll go over that after. Let's get into this.
Address everyone in regard to the current tariff situation. My fellow Albertans, sadly, the United States President Donald Trump has decided to place a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods sold to the United States, with the exception of energy products, which will be tariffed at 10%. These tariffs are unjustified and a clear breach of the North American Free Trade Agreement, or CUSMA, that was signed by President Trump during his first term. This economic attack on our country, combined with Mr. Trump's continued talk of using economic force to facilitate the annexation of our country, has broken trust between our two nations in a profound way. It is a betrayal of a deep and abiding friendship. Albertans have bonds of family and friendship and business with Americans that span well over 100 years of shared history. We have always appreciated and shared the American ideals of entrepreneurship and free markets and civil liberties. Albertans, like so many Americans, also feel a strong sense of identity and are fiercely independent, as our fellow Canadians are well aware. But let there be no mistake, as independent as we are, Albertans are strong and loyal Canadians. Thousands of Albertans have lost their lives fighting alongside our fellow Canadians to secure and protect our freedoms and our country. And we will not cast those freedoms and loyalties aside in response to the threat of economic pressure from a foreign government, even an historically friendly one. Albertans will decide our own destiny, free of coercion from any government. So today I'm announcing the following measures in response to the actions of the US President. First, I've directed my cabinet to alter our procurement practices to ensure the government of Alberta, along with our agencies, school boards, crown corporations, and all Alberta municipalities, purchase all needed goods and services from Alberta companies, from Canadian companies, and from countries with which Canada has a free trade agreement that is being honored. Second, no further purchases of U.S. alcohol or new VLTs will be permitted through the AGLC until further notice. We'll just have to drink a bit more BC wine and Alberta craft beer and spirits, and that's just fine with us.
So I want to touch in on that because we're kind of clearly going the Doug Ford route here. Wab Canoe, also in Manitoba, signed off on legislation to stop selling American alcohol. Now, keep in mind, in Manitoba, at least, and I know this only because I lived there, that their liquor industry is run through the government. It's a government entity, whereas Alberta we don't have to have retailers that sell liquor that are tied to the government. We are an open market when it comes to that. So I'm not really sure what to make of this. I certainly hope when she says no further purchases, it means that we are still going to sell what is on shelves. Because it seems really stupid as liquor stores across the country are now pulling American liquor that they've paid for already off the shelves, thinking it's hurting Americans. It's hurting Canadians because we've already essentially, like, they're going to get subsidized for all that, or money's going to get printed somewhere to make up for those losses. I don't think so. I think they should have to sell what they have, and once it's out, it's out. Again, I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I would rather live in a world where I'm told I can buy what I want from where I want, and it doesn't matter where it came from. It doesn't mean I'm unpatriotic. It just means I have preferences. I'm really not sure what to make of this. We're going to continue.
Third, I'm directing my government to assist our grocers and other retailers with labeling all Canadian products in our stores and ask them to voluntarily purchase their stock from vendors in Alberta, Canada, or countries that we share free trade agreements with that are being honored. Our government will also augment these efforts with a substantial advertising campaign to assist Albertans to more easily access information about where various products on store shelves are from. I understand as well that there's at least 4 apps that have been created in recent weeks and months that can assist Albertans in doing this. And
so I just want to touch again on this because this is starting to feel like pandemic again. We're going to have stickers all over stores saying, keep your distance, make sure you've got your face diapers on and everything else. This is... Did anybody ever think we'd get here? Did anybody ever think that this would be our reality? I understand that in politics, and again, the couple of years that I've spent heavily invested in the political sphere, being here on YouTube, that there is a game to be played when you're in politics. That if you're the one person who goes against the machine, it often ends bad for you. But at the same time, Danielle has to account for the fact that only 10% tariff is being charged on our energy, which I understand the US needs. But Donald Trump's camp has signified that the reason for only 10% was because of Danielle's efforts coming forward. I'm kind of baffled here. I'm not sure what to make of this.
fourth, my government will enter into free trade and labor mobility agreements with every province that is willing to do so. The goal is to have no exceptions, just free trade and free movement of Canadian workers right across our province. I also want to point out that Canada has a secret weapon in this trade conflict with the United States, a trump card, so to speak. And it is located directly under our feet, and it is called Alberta Energy. You see, Alberta happens to have one of the largest deposits of oil and natural gas on the planet. It is significantly larger and far more accessible than the quickly declining oil and gas reserves located in the United States. Whether the US president wishes to admit it or not, the United States not only needs our oil and gas today, they are also going to need it more and more with each passing year once they notice their declining domestic reserves and production are wholly insufficient to keep up with the energy demands of US consumers and industry, let alone having anything left over to export as they do today. We in Alberta would love to increase the amount of oil and gas we send to our southern neighbors to help solve that problem for them. Currently, they buy about $100 billion a year of highly discounted oil from Alberta, which tens of thousands of US workers and refineries then upgrade into $300 billion worth of value to sell around the world. We have made a lot of Americans very wealthy. It's in both of our countries' best interests to double the amount of Canadian crude moving south. It means more Canadian jobs, and even more American jobs. It means lower fuel prices for consumers and more US and Canadian influence all around the world.
So I want to touch on that because I don't know about you guys, but in Alberta especially, I haven't seen lower fuel prices anytime soon. In fact, we're very comparable to other provinces. Considering that we have oil, I haven't seen too much in the change of that. Now, one thing I will give Danielle credit for here, because I don't want to be all negative on Danielle or say that I've flip-flopped for some reason. Again, I have an obligation when these things happen to question, to call out, and to make it known to the public that I don't really pander to any government. I applaud them when they're doing well. I have great and tremendous respect for Danielle. I consider her a friend. However, when it gets down to business, I do have to question some of the things going on and why. Again, I don't know everything. But she at least came out, unlike Justin Trudeau going down to Mar-a-Lago saying, we're going to dissolve, we're going to crumble. She comes out to at least explain what we have to offer, and that is our oil and gas. Now, Donald Trump has made it very clear he wants to ignite the flames of Keystone XL, that he wants to bring that pipeline into Canada. Keep in mind that while it creates jobs for Canadians, Americans are the ones mostly winning the benefit of Keystone XL if it goes through, as the bitumen that we sell to the United States is sold at a very low price, refined, and then sold back to us at a higher value. So America obviously getting the better deal when it comes to Keystone XL. They know that they need that. One of the things I do have to question, because I know people are saying it after this very lengthy video already, what about 51st state? What about Alberta becoming part of 51st state? We haven't talked about that in a while. I've always said that I feel like it can't happen. There's about a decade and a half to 2-decade process involved in that. At least that's what the legal system points out. But nonetheless, Danielle Smith was on camera last week stating that she didn't think Albertans wanted a 51st state, that they were interested in entertaining such things, that they're pro-Canadian. And while I agree, I'd rather remain Canadian than go to the United States, many Albertans are starting to feel we don't really have another choice. The federal government is abusing us with everything that's happened in federally, when it looks to Justin Trudeau not willing to step down, when it looks at Mark Carney coming in and the further abuse from the federal government. People in Alberta are saying, well, we keep giving transfer dollars to other provinces while we get nothing. We're being told that, we can't have American liquor. We can't live our lives. We're going to be a part of this pandemic level craziness again, as stickers are put on store shelves to encourage us to buy Canadian. It's not going to stop me from buying whatever I've bought before. That's me personally. But a development that's happened is this video right here. And I know a lot of people sent me this link. A lot of people wanted me to talk about it. Alberta lawyer Jeffrey Raff says a delegate is planning to travel to DC to pitch President Trump on Alberta statehood. It's quite evident that we're being governed by idiots in Ottawa. There's a number of us in Alberta that have had enough, he says. Now, when Danielle says there really is no argument for Alberta to secede, for any kind of independence on Canada or becoming a 51st state, I wanted to highlight this video because you'll notice here, it was posted on March 4th. So at the time of filming this video, a day prior. 5.5 million views. It has 5,200 bookmarks, 94,000 likes, 20,000 retweets, 6,000 comments, 5.5 million views. That's more than the population of Alberta. You're telling me that people in Alberta don't want to talk about this, Danielle? Come on. That's being a little ridiculous. Let's listen to what the video has to say.
Alberta statehood. Well, there's a group of Albertans that are working together right now to put together a delegation to go to Washington to talk to the Trump administration about Alberta petitioning for U.S. statehood. It's quite evident that we're being governed by idiots in Ottawa who don't understand that we can't afford a trade war with our largest trading partner, and rather than simply apologizing to President Trump for not meeting our NATO commitments and not adequately securing our border, apparently the Trudeau government has decided to declare a trade war and run up trillions of dollars in costs like they did during COVID on a made-up emergency. So there's a number of us in Alberta that have had enough and want to go speak with the Trump administration about the benefits of Alberta joining the United States.
So I agree with everything being said there in terms of why this Alberta group of delegates is being sent to DC to discuss this with Donald Trump. Whether or not that's going to be entertained, I don't know. Again, 5 million views, you never know. But when it comes down to brass tacks, the discussion has to happen with Danielle Smith. This was akin to Jordan Peterson's video that came out just over a month ago, where he had said that Alberta needs a better offer than Donald Trump can provide. What's to stop Donald Trump from contacting Danielle and saying, I can give you no transfer payments, I can give you military, I can give you less taxes, better income revenues, the ability to drill and get your product to market. You're not landlocked. While Danielle has said she personally wouldn't entertain it, that doesn't mean the rest of this province isn't ready to fight for that to be entertained. All it takes for her to leave is a vote. I would prefer not. Again, I will say that I'm going to reserve judgment for now, even though a lot of what was discussed by Danielle I don't agree with. I don't think it's the answer to our problem, though I understand why Alberta is doing what it's doing. Let me know, I guess, what you guys think down below. After seeing all of this, after hearing what Danielle has to say, do you still agree with Danielle that this is the best option? Do you agree with a 51st state at this point? Are you from Alberta and think that it's a bonus? Are you outside of Alberta and would move to Alberta if they became 51st state? Let me know your thoughts down below. If it's your first time here, make sure to leave a like and a comment down on the video. It helps push us out beyond the algorithm. I know as soon as we mention Donald Trump, YouTube just squashes these videos down. So a thumbs up and a comment helps more than you know, folks. If it's your first time here and you enjoyed the video, subscribe, please. We're trying to continue building our audience. My kids keep begging me to get to that silver play button. I want to make them proud. Hit that subscribe button, won't you? While you're at it, hit your bell for notifications. Join me live this Friday and every Friday for Friday Night Fringe, my live streaming show, where we go over everything that's happened this week in politics, everything that's coming up in the week ahead, joined by my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we talk with you, the viewers, outside of making these videos, hearing what you have to say. And I definitely look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday, when we'll definitely be talking about this stuff. I look forward to seeing you there again, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, each and every Friday here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.